I'm going to go ahead and get started and talk to you today. For those of you that do not know, I am Robert Allen with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. I am a local realtor in the Metro Atlanta area. I've been a licensed realtor for the past 18 years, but I have over 100 years of experience in my family, my mother, 40 plus years, my dad. He's been in real estate was in real estate for quite some time, well over 30 years. I've been doing it 18, and my sister, oldest sister, she's been doing it for over 20 years. So I have a lot of experience when it comes to real estate. I've got a lot of interesting stories and different ways I've been able to help people throughout the years. But in these days, in these times, we have coronavirus. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, or mainly about, what's called a forbearance. So again, this is Robert Allen, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, coming to you with some information on that can help you or maybe someone you know or love save their home, save them some money, help give them some housing security during these unprecedented times. And I'm going to talk about forbearance mainly, but there's some other things that you can be aware of to know so that you can save your home, save your friend's home, or save some money, make some money during these times. So basically, a forbearance, you can do it on your car note and other things like that, but mainly for your home. With a forbearance, it allows you to stop making payment. So with a forbearance, you're able to stop making payments or make partial payments by reaching out to your mortgage company and letting them know that you are negatively affected because of the coronavirus and the pandemic and everything shutting down. It's going to be a long time on hold. You've got to be patient. A lot of people are calling them with various issues, and you need to communicate with them, hey, I'm having trouble with my payment. I'm having trouble financially. I'm not going to be able to meet all of my obligations. I wanted to know what my options are. So that's tip number one for you. When you're asking these questions, you want to ask open-ended questions because there may be something specific to your mortgage company that they're able to do for you. But if you tell them which direction you want to go without giving them an opportunity to tell you of all the programs they have, you might miss out on vital information. So you're going to want to tell them the situation and let them know, hey, what do you have available that might be able to help me out? Listen to them. If they don't bring it up, say, hey, what about a forbearance? Is that something I might be eligible for? And see, what's happening at this time is normally when you go through these things and you modify or you get a forbearance or you do something with your mortgage company, you've got to supply a stack of proof to them to let them see and know that you are having a true hardship. But this is a national pandemic. There's no need to supply a lot of proof. So it's often being able to have people be successful with this with a simple phone call to them and asking for the forbearance. So I don't know if I've got the definition of a forbearance, but it basically it will temporarily reduce or suspend your mortgage payments. And what ends up happening is it might be for 3 months, 6 months, or till the end of the year, they actually will suspend your mortgage payment. That's going to allow you to have what little money you have left over, depending upon your situation, to take care of your family, to take care of yourself, and handle obligations and hunker down until we figure out our way out, or before your job can open back up, or you can get back on your feet. The beautiful thing about what's happening right now with the forbearance, they're allowing it to not affect your credit score. There may be some programs that come out that help you not have to start repaying your forbearance amount immediately. So what ends up happening is, let's say your payment is $1,000 a month, and your hardship ends. Your mortgage company is going to come back and say, well, you need to pay $1,200 a month until the amount of your forbearance is paid back in full. Some people may have a job that allows them to do this and comfortably put it into their budget. That is an option, and they're probably going to push for that because they want their money sooner rather than later. The option to push for and to let them know is that, hey, I'd be a lot more comfortable if you put those missed payments on the back of the loan. They're able to do that with no interest, obviously no payments. Let's say you stay in your home for 30 years. At the end, you've paid your mortgage off. There'll be a forbearance amount. Let's say it's 5 months and it's $1,000 a month. There will be a forbearance amount of $5,000 that when you sell your home or is due at the end of the mortgage. So that's a great way to suspend your payment now, pay it 30 years later. The other option, of course, is you're not going to live in the home for 30 years. So what you'll be able to do is when you get ready to sell your home, that forbearance amount will be added to your payoff at that time. So you're still keeping your amortization, you're still keeping your interest rate, you're keeping all of those things. And let's say 3 years from now, you get a job transfer and you need to sell your home, you'll be able to do so. It's just that you're going to repay at that time your forbearance amount. A couple of other things that may happen, again, a couple of other things that may happen after your forbearance period ends and your hardship ends, is they're going to want to try to do what they call reinstate the mortgage, reinstate the loan. And these are some of the options that they're going to give you to do so. Obviously, you can pay it in lump sum, but they're going to work towards reinstating the loan. However, if you cannot follow the rules, or if you cannot even make your original payment because of loss of income, loss of job, maybe you have two incomes in the home and one of those incomes went away, you're able to then file for a hardship and seek a modification. Now, this is something I've helped people with during times outside of COVID. This is things that when you're my client, I'm your agent for life. Give me a call if you or anyone you know is finding themselves on hard times, because I can give them advice on what to do. It doesn't always work, it can't always get approved, but they are still doing modifications on a mortgage. One recent case I'm aware of, I helped a client. It was a long, painful process as far as the paperwork and accounting, but they were able to get their mortgage payment reduced $700. They received, because they paid mortgage insurance, they received a $90,000 credit, temporary partial claim from their mortgage insurance company that brought down their principal amount by $90,000, and their mortgage payment was then based upon the lower amount. That's how they got a $700 price reduction on their monthly payment. That's almost, what, $10,000, $9,000 a year that this family was able to save because they were able to go through a modification because they had a loss of income. It was temporary. They were able to prove that, hey, I've got a new job, it pays me less, what can you do? And they got their mortgage payment reduced. They're able to stay in their home. And similar to a forbearance, that temporary credit is like a soft second. A soft second is a mortgage that has no interest and no payments. They put that on the back of the loan. They don't pay anything on it for now or until the end of the loan. And what's going to end up happening is when they get ready to sell it, they've got to pay that $90,000, which the new buyer is going to pay. Or once they get to the end of the term, let's say they stay there for 30 years, boom, they'll owe that $90,000 at that time, which is highly unlikely. So a modification is something that you can do to reinstate the loan, working with your mortgage company to figure something out that works for your situation. And again, I'm open and available to free consults for those who need help, want help when it comes to things like this. Okie dokie, let me pull up a couple of other notes and things I wanted to mention. Sometimes you find yourself in these situations and everything's bad. Can't afford to sell the home, you can't afford to keep the home, and you're just done. You're done. They do offer something called a deed in lieu. What you're able to do is you're basically able to call up the bank, let them know, hey, here's my hardship. What information do you need from me to prove this hardship? And here are the keys. You can give them the keys to the home and give them the deed to the home in lieu of them going through the foreclosure process. There are even situations to where you can do this and get what's called cash for keys. You work it out and then you say, oh, by the way, I don't have money to move. I need $1,500. If you want me to get the property in good condition, can you give me some cash to move? So I haven't had anybody really take up that option, but for those that are just done with stuff, life is stressful right now, you do have the opportunity to do what's called a deed in lieu of foreclosure. All right. Another option we're helping a couple of people with, right now. Well, one's not a specific short sale, but short sales. A short sale is, let's say you're done with it, but you want to not go the deed in lieu route. You want to receive some tax benefits, or it's just sometimes a preferred way that even gives you more time. You can do what's called a short sale. And what a short sale is, let's say that you owe $100,000 on your house, but I do my research and I'll let you know your house is only worth $80,000. You owe more than what the house could sell for. On a short sale, the bank looks at it and says, we agree to short the money that we're owed and allow you to sell it. So the bank loses $20,000, you're able to sell the home and move on with your life. That's a very good option. We're helping somebody through a short sale right now. It's not necessarily fun, and it's most definitely not a quick process, but it is an option that you need to be aware of. So with that, again, I'm available for consults if you have questions. All right. So one thing that people can do is you can also, all right, so I'm looking on Instagram, I do have some people here. And today we're talking about what do I do to save my home if I am affected financially because of the coronavirus. And I've gone through some options with being able to get your mortgage payments suspended, protecting your credit, in addition to saving some money because you don't have to pay your mortgage until things clear up for you financially. And so now we're getting into some of the other options. One of those creative options is to actually rent your home. So if you are looking for an option to rent your home, what that means is you've made other living arrangements, maybe you have a new relationship and or family or friends, and everybody needs to save money, and you combine your households with someone. You have an opportunity to rent your home and get that new tenant to cover your mortgage payment and move on with your life for a temporary time. And then if, in the future you decide to sell, you're not giving up that equity, or you're actually building equity as time goes on. Or let's say, hey, things clear back up, your finances get back in order, you can move back into your home, kick the tenant out, and go on about your way. So that is an option. I do handle tenant procurement, or just from the simple fact that my parents were landlords for decades. I have a lot of experience and been able to give that decades worth of experience to my clients on things to look out for and how to save money, and also in procuring a tenant. A little simple fact: when showing the home, you want to make sure you look into the tenant's car. How they keep their car is how they're going to keep your house. Just a little simple tip, experience will teach you. All right, so the other option is to sell the home and make some money, put it in your pocket, tax-free. I'm going through this with someone right now. Their situation wasn't caused by coronavirus, but it is a difficult situation. They have a medical issue and their family is struggling. Thankfully, they have equity in their home. Thankfully, my previous advice of renting your home, they had took that advice. Their first home was very modest. They bought it years ago. Instead of selling it, they rented it. So now what I'm about to do is their bigger home, we're about to sell that. Hopefully, Lord willing, please help me, put $60,000 into this family's pocket so that they can readjust their life, pay off some debt, get balanced, and move forward in a couple of years. But until then, they have their own home that they can move right back into. Their tenant's lease was up, they didn't renew it, and they're gonna move back into their very first home that they bought as a couple. So holding on to real estate is smart. It gives you options. And their mortgage they're moving out of is over $2,000. I think it's $2,200. And the mortgage on their very first home that they bought is only $800. So the point of what I'm talking about now, though, is that you may have a significant amount of equity to be able to sell your home, put some money in your pocket, and make it through these tough times. Not necessarily coronavirus, and I wasn't on the seller side, but I just love how real estate blesses people. And there was a young woman who unfortunately was in some domestic issues, and she had to put her home up for sale. I was able to beat out multiple offers and get my client to buy that home. But she was able to walk away with money at the closing table after she paid friends and family back that had been helping her maintain and escape, and literally escape and get out of state with her child, a domestic issue, and profit. So the thing to know is that if you've lived in your home for at least 24 months, not 24 months, but at least 2 years, which is 24 months, if you have lived in your home for at least 2 of the last 5 years, when you sell your home, up to $250,000 of your profit as a single individual is tax-free. If you are a married couple and you have lived in your home for at least 2 of the last 5 years, when you decide to sell, up to $500,000 of your profits are tax-free. Who could use an extra $500,000 during these times and take a break, take some of this pressure and job insecurity off of you? Selling your home is actually a pretty good option if you can arrange housing, or if you've got friends or family, or you just need to press the reset button on life, put some money in your pocket. And obviously you can reach out to me if anyone is in that situation and they need to set up a consult for me to be able to help them figure out how much money they can make. So that's something I specialize in. Helped sellers in 2019 make over, what did we help them make? I think it was $811,000 in 2019 was able to help put into the pockets of the sellers. And the majority of them, because they were owned and lived in by my clients, that was tax-free. All right. So a couple of success stories of people I've been able to help. So I told you about one client we're helping right now. They're moving back into a home that they kept as a rental. They're going from a $2,200 mortgage payment to an $800 mortgage payment. And they're doing that through real estate, putting $60,000 in their pocket and pressing the reset button on life. I love real estate and I love helping people. All right. Another client of mine, they ended up not needing to use it, but coronavirus was going on. And I know this is easy. I know this is simple to do. When I'm talking about the forbearance, which was the main point of this video, is with forbearance, their buyer for their home was delayed in being able to close because of all the craziness going on. And they had to move out and they couldn't afford to pay a mortgage and rent somewhere else. So they found themselves in a position to where they needed to call their mortgage company, get through, be patient, ask for forbearance. And the mortgage company said, you know what? 3 months. Don't pay us for 3 months. So it's pretty simple to do. It is possible. I have clients doing it. And again, call me if you have questions. I can potentially help walk you through the process. It's not a guarantee, but these are some tips and direction that you can go. Another story that this isn't necessarily what's going to happen for you, but it is an encouraging story. You need to know these things and you need to fight for what's best for you. It's one of those things to where a lot of people, when they find themselves in a difficult situation, they do not open the mail. They do not look at the mail because they know it's just another bill. But sometimes it's a check. You need to check your mail. But in all seriousness, you need to put on the hat of I'm a fighter. You need to put on the armor of I'm a fighter, because there is a way for you out of these situations. I think depending on where I put this video, I'll give a free pamphlet on what to do when you're in a distressed situation as a homeowner, if this information doesn't cover your distress. But long story short, you need to fight. I had a client of mine who one time she walked into her home before closing and she just felt it was placed on her heart that she was going to have that house debt free one day. And what ended up happening is this was, back when the world was crazy again because of the economy, and things got tough for them and they weren't able to maintain their mortgage, and they had to fight because they believed that they would own that home one day debt free. So what ended up happening is they fought. They went through certain steps, and I can talk to you offline about what some of those steps can be when it comes to fighting for your home, even though you're in a tough situation. And it was a several-year battle, but at the end of it, because she had the courage to fight for what was going to be best for her and what she believed, and to keep her home, the bank made a mistake. They made one critical error. And because she was fighting, she found the error. And what ended up happening is the executives of the bank, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't enforce the mortgage. and they had to pay it off and give her her $400,000 house debt free. So hopefully that's encouragement, not to go repeat that story, because that's one in a trillion opportunity. But at the same time, there is value in fighting for what's best for you. And if it includes keeping and saving your home, by all means, fight for it. I'm here to help in any way that I can. If you know anyone that is out of a job, owns a home, and would love a consult about what their options are, make sure you get in touch with me and let me know. I'm here to help, and I appreciate the opportunity. And I appreciate your time checking out this video on what can you do to save your home when we're having to deal with all this, as what is it, Cardi B says, coronavirus. So thank you, and we'll be in touch.